Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another review of What We Do in the Shadows. This is episode 5, and it's called Animal Control. And at the beginning of the episode, we have Laszlo and Naja. And they are happily traversing through the night. They just got done feeding, and they're feeling so frisky, and they're thinking about what are we going to do next. Needless to say, it's not going to be, any kind of G-rated fun, to say the least. But then Laszlo spies their new neighbor, Phil, and he decides, I want to feed on him. Of course, Naja doesn't, so he says, you can watch. That's pretty kinky. So as they're doing that, Nandor and Guillermo are playing chess, but they're spying on him too, watching them just bicker away. And they're just making little snide remarks. Now, it's pretty funny. And Laszlo turns into a bat and heads up to the window where Phil is and goes inside and turns back and is now trying to hypnotize Phil. You will succumb to my dark power, that kind of thing. And as he's doing that, the girlfriend or wife comes home. They don't really specify. And he has to turn it back and get out, but he can't get out of the window quick enough. She comes running in there with a broom and beats the snot out of him. I mean, it just tears him up. And Nando and Guillermo are going, oh, crap. They see the whole thing. They're like, oh, no. And so they gather up with Colin to head out and go rescue him. Meanwhile, Naja has no idea what's going on because she left before this all happens. So she goes off to see her man, Gregor. No, not Gregor. Jeff, as she says. Jeff. She hates that name with a passion. And I didn't know this, but apparently, you know how she said that he died by getting his head cut off? Well, in all of his lifetimes, every lifetime he's had his head cut off. I had no idea. And that is pretty weird. I had no idea that happened. So, she has no idea what's going on with Laszlo. So we head back, and there's Nandor, Colin, and Guillermo. And they're trying, Gizmo, and they're trying to figure out who's going to go in to rescue Laszlo. Well, then Colin realizes it's a moot point because Animal Control has already gotten there, and they have taken Laszlo. They have taken Laszlo, and they're not happy about it. As Nandor says, they've stolen Laszlo. So, meanwhile, Naja is trying to go see Jeff / Gregor. She can't go inside the car parking lot. I guess she has to be invited in, which that's strange. I didn't know that's the way it worked. But so Gregor / Jeff invites her in. So, and she is just asking him to show me around your house of cars. So he decides to take her around and give her the grand tour of the car parking lot. Meanwhile, we go to the animal control person, Karen. Now, I believe it's Karen. Is it Karen? It is. Yeah, it's Karen. I was right. I knew it was Karen. And she's talking about all the different animals, that she catches and how she hates rats and everything. And as she's going, they show out the back window. They show Nandor with Guillermo riding on top of him, and they're looking inside the window. He's flying, and they're looking inside the window to see if they can see Laszlo. Needs to say they can't. So, meanwhile, back in the car garage, Naja is just trying to get Gregor to be Gregor, And I didn't know he apparently in each lifetime She's seen him in each lifetime, from Gregor to a mop lady to I think some kind of stable boy kid or whatever to an actual horse. She was talking about how everyone got their head cut off. So that is very strange. So she decides to hook up with him after he gets off work in like 15 minutes. So meanwhile, Nandor and Colin head over to the animal control, and they decide they're going to go in there and try to rescue Laszlo. And of course, Colin's being Colin, saying how he's that they're not day walkers. They can't be day walking around the day. And he goes, if you don't want to be a day walking during brunch, and he's being an ass, total ass. And Nandor's not happy about it. Meanwhile, you go back, and Naja and Jeff/Gregor decide they are going to go to. They were trying to figure out what to do, and they go to a carnival where the freaks are. And you can't say that. And so he doesn't care. She says whatever she wants to say, which makes her an awesome character. So they head off the carnival. Meanwhile, we go back and we head to Animal Control to see the rescue effort of Nandor. Nandor and Colin. Of course, it starts off a little slow because they have to be invited in to go. So they head in. And they're looking at pictures of all the different animals, and they show a cat. And he goes, "Didn't you eat this one?" He goes, "I have never eaten." Basically, I'd never eaten a cat. So as they're sitting there, the Karen comes up and showing a picture of the bat with his little red penis hanging out. I don't know why, but they're enamored by it. Nandor goes up and tries to hypnotize them, telling them where to bring them the bat, but it doesn't work. And Colin's like, "You're not very good at that, are you?" And he goes, "It only works if you tell them to do something they want to do." Which confuses Colin. Colin's, well, then that's not actually telling them what to do. They're doing what they want to do. And they get kind of in a hissy match and hiss at each other, and which gets the attention of Karen and the other guy. And so they ask, what do you want? And, they say, we're looking for a lost pet, and we're looking, and they ask what kind of pet. And, of course, Nandor says a bat. Oh, they're illegal. He goes, "No, ma'am, he said a cat," which is what Colin said. So he goes, "Well, they got to fill out the forms and everything." So yay for that. I'm sure they're happy. That's perfect for Colin, though. I mean, that's right up Colin's alley. Meanwhile, back at the festival or the carnival, Gregor/Jeff gets some popcorn. Now, vampires cannot eat regular food. And she's doing everything she can not to eat it. She actually tries to bite his hand. And then finally, he's able to feed her, and it doesn't take. I mean, it really doesn't take. So that's enough for her. No more popcorn for her. Meanwhile, back at the Animal Control, Colin's at his best, talking about what papers to sign, what papers not to sign, which one he should, which one he shouldn't, which one is useless, and just being Colin. So Nandor heads outside and tries to find a way in. He finds an open window, and he turns the bat in he goes. And he finds a crate with the bat in it, Laszlo. And he grabs it, and he heads outside with it. So they're rescuing Laszlo, finally. And meanwhile, back at the carnival, they come across a bow and arrow game thing. Kind of like, all those little game places where they have in the carnivals where they're all rigged. They are. So you lose. So Naja has him. Oh, look, it's it's where your best weapon you can use, and he sucks at it. He absolutely is horrible at it. It just disgusts Naja. She's like, what the heck's wrong with you? It's not him. She's just getting more frustrated as the night goes on. Meanwhile, Nandor gets outside with Laszlo. He's rescued him, and here comes Guillermo on his bike. I'm saying his name better, aren't I? I think I am. And he was going to all the different animal controls, but they finally find one, and they release him. He's free, and he flaps away. It really pisses off Nandor. He goes, that effing guy. He goes, there's no thank you, basically. And Guillermo makes a point. Was that the right one? Are you sure that was the right one? And they're like, oh, crap. Of course, we head right into the animal control, and there's Laszlo inside a cage. And he's like, where the F am I? And he's stuck in a cage with all the animals. Yay! Oh, it's pretty funny. And so they have to head back inside to try to rescue Laszlo again. So we head back to the carnival, and these thug guys walk by and basically are making fun of Naja, saying God sucks and go back to where you came from, whatever, and she's like, please don't kill him, Gregor. And he's like, I wasn't gonna do it. She's like, what? So she takes matters in her own hands and absolutely just waylays this guy into the game thing, and just pushes him in and just whoosh. She's like, what just happened? He goes, he was playing the game wrong. And she is not happy. I mean, not happy. She even does a ring toss and absolutely kills it, wins a giant tiger, and she's had enough. That's it. She's had enough. So she waves her magic hands and turns him back into real Gregor, the Gregor that she knew. And he's having these flashbacks. And he's about to get his head cut off, and she goes, no, a little bit closer, and she turns into the mop lady. So, and the same thing's about to happen, and he for a second turns into like a kid or something like that. I'm not too sure. And then his last one, he turns into a horse. The one she earlier said she rode around on the countryside naked. It's like, okay. So, meanwhile, inside the cage, Laszlo is trying to incite a revolution with all the animals. We need to be free. We work together. And he basically is trying to hypnotize a cat that's next door to him. You will succumb to my dark power. And he's trying. And so as he's doing that, here comes Karen with a new pet or new lost animal, and he turns back into bat. And it's a dog, and she puts him into the kennel below Laszlo. Well, lo and behold, as she's doing it and leaves, it's actually Nandor. I didn't know he could turn into a dog. And Laszlo's pissed. He's like, he goes, yes, I came to rescue you. And he's like, well, how are you going to rescue me if you're locked in a cage? And he's like, oh. It was a good idea, but not so much. So meanwhile, we head back to the park where Naja and now Gregor is, and they steal a cop's horse. And they're riding it around the city. The cop is chasing them, and they're just riding around all happy. And they head back to the garage. And that's where earlier these skateboard kids just skateboarded by him, not paying attention, disrespecting him because he's just, parking garage attendant. And now he's not. He's Gregor. And he took the bow and arrow from the fair and the little sticky arrows and shoots them at two of the skateboarders, knocks two of them down, and then hits the other one right in the middle forehead with a sticky arrow. It's the funniest looking thing. And then they start dancing. Some broom dance. I have no idea, but they're dancing all over the place. Finally, they decide he wants to make love right there on the dirty floor. She's like, heck yeah. She's down with it. She's like, all right, yeah, this is what I wanted from the beginning. The phone rings. So she answers it, and it's Guillermo. And he's telling him what happened. So now Naja said, I gotta go. I'm married. I gotta go. And he's like, no, don't leave. And it's a real cool scene because as she's backing away, her eyes glow. And then she turns into basically a pile of rats, which was really cool looking. I was like, that was awesome. I thought it was very neat, very cool effects. So we head back to the animal control. And there's Colin again, just talking that dude's ear off. Guillermo's sitting there waiting for Naja. Naja shows up. And Naja is like, you gotta invite me. And the guy's like, please come in. So she asks him what the code is. And she hypnotizes him. What's the code? And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She goes, that's the code? So she goes into the kennel and Nando's like, yay, it's Naja. And she frees him. And as they're leaving, Laszlo goes, I can't. I got to go back and free my fellow, prisoners. I made a gentleman's promise. I've got to go free him. So he heads back. Meanwhile, Gregor has been arrested. He's in the back of the car. I'm Gregor. I'm the winner of many battles, victor of many battles. And then he goes, I'm the mop lady. And he's all messed up in the head. Naja did a hell of a thing on his head. I'll tell you what. So the cop's like, okay, whatever. So now we head back into the animal control shelter, and there is Laszlo opening all the cages. Free, you're free, my friends. And they attack him, and they're all over him. All the cats are on him, and he's running down the. He runs out of the animal control and down the street. And Nandor's still like, "You're welcome." It was, and that's basically the end of the episode. And Naja's following behind him, just shaking her head. He's like, oh my God, I'm with a bunch of idiots. It's so good. So what did I think of the episode? I loved this episode. This episode was really funny. It's probably my favorite one now. My favorite one was the first episode. The others were really good. But this one by far was so good. It was just their interactions, the way they worked. You're finding out more about Gregor. You're seeing more of the vampire's powers. Seeing that they can turn into dogs. I didn't know that. I had no clue, and that Nandor's sucky at hypnotizing. Nadja's very good at it, apparently. And it's really cool, and how she can turn into a pile of rats. I had no idea she could do that, and it was so good. It's just so good. I love this episode. By the way, the ratings are very good for it. People seem to really enjoy it, and the critics seem to really enjoy it. And I hope it gets renewed because it's excellent. It's such a fun show to watch. So guys, I'm telling you, you really should watch it if you're not watching it. If you're not watching it, you should be listening to this. You should be watching it and listening to this. That's what you should do. Yeah. So thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you're enjoying the show as much as I am. And leave a comment if you want. Leave a like. I'd be better. I'd appreciate it. And come back again so I can give you more of my how I feel about the show and how the show's going. Again, I love the show. I think the show's going great, and it's a fun show to watch. And the next one will be episode 6, and we'll catch that. Well, I think it's called Baron Nights Out. So we'll catch that. That should be great. The Baron, I guess, wakes up and they have to go out. Oh boy! Thank you very much, guys. I will see you again here in another episode of What We Do in the Shadows, the reviews. Bye bye.